Welcome to the Airman Roundtable. Today is the 19th of July, 2022, and this is the roundtable. I'm kind of doing it what the Van Hoff does with the Enigma. He's got one public meeting a month, and then the other one is for subscribers. I'm doing one every week, so we'll have one public one like this every month to keep you guys updated. But then the subscribers will get one every week, and so it's basically the normal weekly update, but it'd be nice for everybody else to see it. And as a side note, today is National Daiquiri Day, so if you like daiquiris, there's no better reason to get one today. So, okay, so there's the daiquiri slide.
Yeah, okay, they know what they want.
Yeah. Okay, so normal disclosure, Airman is not a broker-dealer, investment advisors for educational purposes only. Options, futures, bonds, and currencies involve risks and are not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. If you want to read the whole thing, pause the recording or go to the bottom of any of our web pages. And the attribution slide, option explorer, option view, thinkorswim, interactive broker are all tools that I use and brokers. So thank you for all the help they have helping us be better traders. Okay, overview, couple announcements, spreadsheet update, performance summary, a little bit about the current market, the open trade, the next trade, and then an alternative boxcar setup I was playing around with, and I actually kind of like it. And then a discussion if we have any questions. So let's get going here. So announcements. Like I was telling you about this, one public boxcar meeting per month is a roundtable. Other weeks will be for subscribers. And the meetings are just after trading group one. I have another announcement that Tim Pearson is retiring from the beginner small account trading group. So I'm going to take that over and I'm renaming it to the Options 101 trading group. It's going to be on the second and fourth Thursday of the month at I think it's 11:30 Eastern. But I'll basically talk about concepts like box trades and some of the basics for people who may not be super familiar with this stuff. And I think that'll be a good meeting twice a month. Spreadsheet updates. I've been doing quite a bit on the spreadsheet. So I can show these. Well, I think maybe I have some slides. So this is the subscribers can see this, but you can see I'm doing quite a lot of work on the spreadsheet. So on the put and call chains, I had a mark to mark of the spread. So this is a 25 wide spread. And I also added the ask to ask price. I know Scott Rubel at Strategy and Trade was a floor trader, and he always uses ask to ask. Some places it may not have an ask, but SPX always does. And you can see they're not exactly the same, but if you're trying to get filled on this one at 220, but the ask is SS is 230, you might actually want to try and bump your price up a little bit. And yeah, this is it's just more data, so you can see how they're pretty close, but they're not exactly the same. And then I also added a delta filter. So in the past, we've used standard deviations, but it always ends up in the same delta range. So I just have the spreadsheet user can control what range of deltas they want to use. This color green, kind of lighter green, is the standard deviation filter, and this is the delta range filter. So you can see 8 to 10, and these are all 8 to 10. And then you can look at the, it's also color coded here too. And then he just picks normally something with some decent volume. I took this in the middle of the night, so the SPX wasn't really trading much. But if I look at it now, let's pull up the option chain. So here you can see somebody bought 3,500 of these puts today or sold. And then if you haven't seen this, this is the total of the top 50, and you can change this. You can go 75 if you want. 50 or 40 should be enough. This is the median, half below, half above. So if you have above the median, or for either one of these, it's this light green. If it's above 3 times that, it's the dark green. So you can really see what strikes are being traded a lot. And then you just look for whatever price you're trying to get. I think we like $1.60, $1.65. And then, here's an 8 delta, $1.70, this ought to work. So I would probably, if I was doing a trade now, I'll probably do this 25 wide spread. So it just helps you find your entry prices or strikes. And performance, I grew up in the Michael Jordan era in Chicago, so I was like that. He had like a vertical leap of something like close to 40 inches, crazy. But recent performance, so I took a hit on this one. This is the week the market was down like 10%. Like within 4 days when I put the trade on, I cut and rolled my credit spreads twice and was fighting it. But the other trades are making up for it. And then this one, it was a quick kill. Again, the market was selling off. I hit my max loss and I said, okay, that's it, I'm out. And we're not down too much, $375, 2% with all that. And you can see, you win most of the time and the wins are decent size. And you see, even if you have a loss, if you keep it, more to your 4 to 5%, you're going to have good months. So the current markets are like this. In my 3 weeks of investing, I've never seen anything like this. So the daily chart of ES, actually, I think I need to pull up another one. I'll grab that. I'll do daily. Let's do ES. So it looks like we're hitting some kind of a channel, kind of heading higher. It looks like it's trying to break out of this area. So right now I'm not too worried about the downside. The ease of movement's bullish, the RSI is bullish, and it looks like nice higher lows and higher highs. So we could be headed higher. The main thing is we don't have one of these. This is where I put that big loser on this day, and then boom, 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 we're down like 3.5%, 3 days in a row, and all of a sudden your trade's exploding on you. And
Tom, I noticed you don't have any volume indicators on that.
I do.
One of the ones I like to
go.
use is the volume zone. The volume zone oscillator. I have found that to be extremely useful, and I know they'd like that at simpler trading as well.
So is that a Thinkorswim indicator?
Yes.
Okay.
You might not have it on that one, but it basically attempts to normalize the volume over a range, and you can really see on perhaps a shorter time frame, you can see when it starts to pick up, and I use that in correlation with my other stuff. So it might, whatever platform this is, there might be an equivalent of that.
Yeah, it's this trading view. I like it just because it's online and they have an app, so I can look at my iPad in the middle of the night, just tap the icon and I'll see what the markets are doing.
Yeah, I've had trading view before. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll look for that one and see if it's here, and then also add it to my Thinkorswim. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so open trade. I just updated this and I'm looking at the spreadsheet and it's actually up a little bit more. So this is the current position, up $150, roughly 0.77%. And you can see that on the dashboard. It's all right here. And as far as the open trade considerations, well, this is what it looks like right now. I can actually put up an option view. This is live. And we'll just scoot this to the left so this gets expanded a bit. And the T plus N lines look fine. I've lifted this up today with the this debit spread. It was 25. It was like this earlier. I need to get rid of some of these extra lines. So this was like minus 30 some dollars in the morning, and then I rolled this this up, and it lifted this and cut that, and our position delta was like 1, and now it's 4, which is still on the low side. My rule of thumb is +1 position delta for each credit spread, and I've got 6 of them. So even a 4 position delta is on the low side. But that's how you manage these as the market's rallying. You can narrow the debit spread, and even do a condor roll if it's cheap, just to move it up higher, to do some harvesting essentially. Okay, and then open trade considerations. So it expires a week from Friday. I'd like to close it before Wednesday at 2 because the FOMC meeting is happening then. Right now, the market's about 319 points above my short strike on the credit spread. The delta is, oh, when I made the slide, is 5. Let's see what it is now. It is 4.85, so it's going down as the market's rallying. I think we're up 83 right now. And economic events, so we've got the FOMC announcement on Wednesday, Fed chair press conference right after that. And then Thursday, we have the GDP. So these could all move the market. So I would like to close this down or at least cut the risk drastically by Wednesday at 2 o'clock. And that's only 2 days before expiration. If the market's still heading higher, it'll be fairly easy to close down because those credit spreads will be pretty cheap. Okay, the next trade, I'll probably put it on next week after I close the current trade. I'm looking at probably an August 5th expiration. And the markets, oh, that's I need to take that one out because they are not closed on the 14th. And the fixed futures are in contango. And if you want to see that, you can always go to VIX Central. It's a really nice site if you don't know about it. So contango is basically, this graph general shape is going from the lower left to the upper right. And when it goes the other way from the upper left to the lower right, that's backwardation. And that's usually the market's kind of scared or worried, or there's a lot of uncertainty. And one rule of thumb that John Bailey uses, or used to use, I don't know if he still does, if this percent contango between the first and second month is less than 3% or negative, then that's when you want to start easing up on your long delta. So that's just a little guideline to help you stay out of trouble. Okay, so VIX futures and these economic events, I'm not sure if those are right. Oh yeah, they are. FOMC. So we talked about these already. And okay, so those are the next trade, but these actually won't be in effect for the next trade because I'll be closing the current trade and then opening them up. This one may be an issue, this Thursday TDP, depends on when I open up the next trade. Okay, so alternative trade setup. So I was kind of playing around with this. I had Scott Rubel's alchemy class this last weekend, and it was interesting. He overlaid a broken wing butterfly with a basically a condor, essentially, kind of like the boxcar shape. So the standard boxcar, I'm selling 6 credit spreads, 25 wide for 810 delta, and I buy 1 put debit spread at 1 to 3 strikes out of the money. And it looks like this, and you adjust your position delta again for the +1 per credit spread. And then alternative one would be essentially like more like a butterfly. So you buy 1 long at or near the money, so around a 50 delta, and then you sell 3 around a 19-20 delta, and you buy 1 around an 8 to 9 delta. And that ends up looking like this. Now it's interesting if you overlay these. So here's the standard boxcar and here's the alternative. It's not really a boxcar shape, so I don't know if I need to rename it, but if you compare these in option view has a thing called expect the return. I can show you where that is if you're curious. If you load an analyze chart, you go here to this ER, expect the return, and you click on the expiration. And right now, option view is saying this trade, the current trade, has an expected return of plus $404. So if I go back and compare these, the standard boxcar with a 6-lot credit spread uses 14 contracts. The alternative uses, is it 8? Yeah, it's 8 contracts. The margin on this example was just slightly higher for the alternative boxcar. Position delta at the start was much lower for the alternative boxcar. And if you look at the profit at the T+6 line, if I go back, that would be this dash line right here. You can see the butterfly shape has much higher theta, and your profit's much higher at the same point until it gets up from this whole range. The butterfly shape has more P&L. And expected return on the standard boxcar was 145, and the alternative boxcar was 491, so quite a bit higher. If you go down 1% T+0, the standard boxcar loses about $300 in the setup, and the alternative was a 190. And if you go up 1%, the standard boxcar without any, these are without any adjustments, was up $36, and the butterfly one was down 85. So, it's 1% move is about 40 some points right now. So if the market's rallying, it's pretty easy to address the upside if you look at it, because these lines are fairly flat. So it's there's a lot of premium here to play with. So you can do like we do with the regular boxcar, just maybe roll this up a little bit, or just add in an embedded credit spread to lift this up. But it's very flat with hardly any gamma. So that's basically the alternative I'm playing around with. I need to ask the subscribers if they want me to do any of those. But again, it's quite a bit different. But I think the trade management would be fairly similar, because if you go down, say 0.5% to 1%, these T+0 lines are very, very close, and you would handle the adjustments, I think, fairly similarly, as far as when you would put on like a debit spread to help defend the downside. But Dan, what are your thoughts on doing this kind of butterfly version versus the standard one we're doing now?
Well, right. I actually looked at this a while back, and I think they're roughly comparable. And like I mentioned to you in an email, one of the considerations is the comfort level of traders dealing with butterfly adjustments as opposed to simple credit spread adjustments. I mean, I like both setups. I like butterflies a lot, as you know. And once you get the hang of adjusting these things, it's not that big a deal. The only other consideration is that the fact that your short strike delta is closer to the money, and you are being hedged off by the long leg, the upper long leg of the butterfly. But when you bring into view volatility considerations, you might be hammered sooner, and you might have to make an adjustment somewhat sooner, and it might be a little more radical than simply leapfrogging or something like that on the regular boxcar. But other than those considerations, there are definite, like everything else in trading, there are pluses and minuses. And I think it's definitely worth looking at for your subscribers. I think it's because on most cycles, unless the market is moving radically, you probably won't have to do much.
Yeah, and these T+N lines, like T+6, are quite a bit higher.
They
So
are.
You can squeeze out quite a bit more profit. I did want to show the spreadsheet a little bit. I did a lot of work on it the last couple of days. Like down here, it's actually dynamic. It sees what you're doing and figures out if it's a debit or credit spread. And I added the call credit spread down here is kind of a fixed position. And then one gets referenced up here on this line with the call credit spread. But if you just paste in this trade, it'll recognize this as a debit spread. And if you do like this, it'll say, well, that's a credit spread. And then, you want to put in the prices you got filled at. And then I also added, if it's a debit spread, it fills in this stuff. So if I put this in down here, for instance, now all these numbers fill in. So it's a little bit more dynamic, and I got rid of the standard deviation calculator up here because there is a standard deviation calculator on the calculators tab. So I figured it was kind of redundant to have that, and it cleans it up a little bit. I also have it calculate the number of contracts you've traded, and then it multiplies it by your commissions to tell you what your commissions are. I had the commissions already, but it didn't add up the contracts. So little small changes. And then the put thing, I added this debit spread calculator to help figure out adjustment points. And I did a video for the subscribers on that in the member site. And then these delta ranges. So I'm not using the standard deviation right now, just these delta ranges. And I don't know, I'll leave it in. There's no reason to take it out because some people might like that. But I also updated the sentiment. Sorry. And I found a different web page. It's got good data. So these are updated as of March 2022, and I put the date in here now, but these are all current. And let's see. Oh, the other thing is I added an ES data tab, and I also figured out how to filter. So I'm not pulling in, it defaults to 100 records. So on this queries thing, see, it's only loading like 17, 19 records. And so it's quicker to pull the data in. And, I'm doing a 14 period average true range calculation for ES and SPX. I was having a problem with ES because this was actually printing the fourth with no data, which was causing an error on the ATR, but I figured out with Power Query how to filter that out. So now it's all working fine. And these ATR numbers get updated like every 15 minutes and they get put up here. And then now you can see the ATR for both the ES and SPX. Sometimes ES is nice to see because it's trading overnight. So you might think the ATR is a little bit lower with SPX, but the futures are actually trading more. But then by the time the open happens, maybe the futures have already moved up 10 or 15 points. So the ATR and the SPX seems a little bit lower than what it is on the future. So I like to see both, just so you know how volatile things are. But I think, oh, and I also updated the document for the trade guidelines. So for the subscribers, they can go to the home page and hit history. Oh, and I also, on this welcome page, I recorded this last night. I had to hit the pause button a lot because I was coughing so much, but this is a walkthrough of the trade. And then as far as the documents go, this online document, Dan and I can change this in the admin area. It's just an HTML document, but it can generate a PDF or you can look at it online. The PDF's handy. If you just click on your name, it copies your email address. Sorry, it puts that in the clipboard. Generate the PDF. The password is your email address. You just paste it in, and now here's your PDF of the Boxcar trade guidelines. You can see I updated it last night. So I like this online version. It's it's easy for us to update, and as things change, like the trade started at 8 to 11 days to expiration, I believe, and we lengthened it a little bit because the market was getting a little crazy. And this could go back to shorter time frames in the future, but it's easy for us to change, and then it shows you what the current date time of this document was. So I think that's a nice addition. Okay,
You've done a lot of work on that. Those are really nice touches, Tom.
Yeah, it's a labor of love. So
Yeah.
well, it's a lot of work. But another thing too is the P&L for the trade. So if you go to the positions trade here, this is the current position. This P&L is calculated in my spreadsheet. Let's see, where's the spreadsheet? So it's right here, $109. But I built a Boxcar updater spreadsheet that actually runs every minute and posts this information to the server. So if I let me just get these so you can see all of them. Okay, so right now this is at $109 profit for the trade, and if I hit the data refresh on here, now that just posted it to the server. So if I refresh it, now it's 89, so it matches, and it also updates the short strike delta of the credit spread and also the position delta, and updates the date timestamp. So this gets updated every minute during the trading day, and I've got, these are the actual fill prices they had for each leg. These are the screenshots of the trade. I need to actually update this with the adjustment today, but I was running trading group 1 and getting ready for this, so that's kind of low-hanging fruit. So I'll do that after this meeting. And then I also upload the trade log. So the Thinkorswim one, if you just copy and paste this into Thinkorswim or import it, then you'll see the same trade that I'm looking at in Thinkorswim, which is, let's see, is this, and you can look at the risk graph. Now, the one thing it doesn't do, doesn't show you the leg prices that you paid. You can pull it off from here. You can see what the prices were, or you can look at the option view T-log that has all the data, date, time, commissions. It's got everything in it. And then I'm also doing videos, real short ones, 3 to 5 minutes, after I do adjustments or trade launch. And this just loads this video, and you can see what I'm thinking or not thinking. And it's just trying to keep everybody updated on the same page. So it's a one-stop shopping for what's going on. I also noticed too on this conditional orders, and I showed this in Trading Group 1. I found it interesting. I don't know if it's a bug or not, but if you okay, so here's some pasting I did. So if you go from, let's just put this in as an order. Well, actually, I copied this from the order entry. Let's copy this to the clipboard, and I'll just do a new order, and I'll try pasting. Let me delete that, and we'll paste this in. It says no order in the clipboard, but I actually copied this from the order entry tab or dialog box. So what did work is to go to the monitor tab, and you just right click here and just copy this. And now it actually looks like this. The only difference is the one from the order entry tab puts a price, the current price of that spread in. Everything else is the same. But if you take this one and paste it in, it actually works. So let's try that. Yeah, there it is. And it's got the condition SPX below 38.50, buy the spread at the mark plus 25 cents, GTC. So everything's there. But I can't copy it from with a conditional order from that order entry tab. So I figured that out today. As a matter of fact, with the when I send out an order, there's now a I have a separate order Thinkorswim order field in the database. So if I edit this, oh, actually I didn't have an order for the fills. So here's one, and if I edit that, there's the message I sent out, and there's the actual Thinkorswim order. So what that lets me do is if you click on this TD, it loads a page and copies this order to the clipboard. And if I just paste it in, you'll see it's there. Yep, there it is. So it's a little bit easier to get this into your clipboard, so you can just paste in Thinkorswim. You don't have to fumble around doing the copy paste thing. You just go click, and it puts it in the clipboard for you. So I think that's all the changes I've had, which is a lot, but we're trying to move the ball forward here. So any comments, Dan, on your boxcars, or things people should know that maybe I missed? Or
no, I am continually impressed by your spreadsheet modifications and your ability to code all this stuff. I like what you've done with your new ones, so I may at some point in the future go to your new version. I'm still using the version that you had right before this, but I had made some modifications of it, so I'll have to go in and make a note of what I did before I copy over yours. But I like the changes that you've made. I think there's some really good additions, good nuances to the trade, and nothing else need be said. As far as I'm concerned, the market is really rocking and rolling here today. And
yeah,
I had
we're
some,
up 85, almost
yeah,
86.
I had some call credit spreads, and so they're being hit a bit, but I think we'll come back off that. Well, maybe, hopefully we will. And of course I had to adjust my debit spreads, as I guess you probably did too. So that kind of surprised me. Wasn't expecting this. I should have taken my profits yesterday because I had good profits, but I've given quite a bit back now, but still a little bit of time left, and still have some money in the trade. But that's the nature of of this kind of trading when you're selling premium as opposed to directional trading. If you make a directional style trade, it's pretty cut and dried what you have to do. If the market's going against you too much, you're stopped out. But that's not the case with positive theta trades. You have to do things, along the road, along the way to keep your profit target up and to try to bring that profit in. But I think your spreadsheet will be really helpful in doing that. And the butterfly modification, like I said, I had looked at that before and I kind of liked it. I just didn't do it. But I think it's a great setup, particularly for those that are really comfortable with butterflies. Because they will know what to do immediately if things start to go bad.
Oh, it reminds me a little bit of a boxcar that's closer to, I mean, not a boxcar, a road trip trade that's closer to the money.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And of course, with a broken wing, you do have the risk that if you were to blow through, but you have similar risks with a conventional boxcar. And I suppose you could do many of the same types of adjustments on the downside. I know a lot of people, when they have a butterfly moving against them on the downside, they'll turn it into a split fly,
Mm-hmm.
or like a broken wing condor kind of thing. So there's still lots of stuff that you can do. So for the people that are comfortable trading butterflies, I think that would be a welcome addition.
So I might work on back testing that, and if I like it, add another spreadsheet for this alternative form of the boxcar. We'll see. We'll play around with it.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't see any questions, and my throat's starting to get a little raw, so I need to go back to bed.
Need to rest your voice, and I would recommend, if you have a vaporizer, use it. If you don't,
We do.
that's because I have chronic bronchitis and I periodically get tight, and I use that, and it's very helpful not only in bringing up secretions, but just simply humidifying the bronchial tree and the alveoli in the lungs. It's very helpful.
Well, and it's pretty dry here anyway. We're kind of semi-arid. I think the humidity yesterday was in the 20% range. So
Yeah, I would, absolutely use that, and obviously lots of fluids, and rest your voice. And I
right.
hope you have a speedy recovery.
Yeah, Dave Johnson said he had similar symptoms and it lasted 2 or 3 days. So I've had 4 vaccinations. So it just feels like a cold, nothing extraordinary. So
Yeah,
we'll see how it goes. And then we have to head up to Denver on Friday. Gabby's got her naturalization interview, so she'll be a U.S. citizen soon.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I hope you're recovered by then.
Yeah, me too. I got to drive.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. That's all I've got, and I don't see any questions. So thanks for coming. Had lots of updates, and I'm happy I could show them to you. It's keeps getting better and better. So it's incremental improvements, right? So
You bet.
yeah. And thanks, Dan. Greetings to Lynn. And I've got to go go back to bed, I think. So.
Yeah. Well, much appreciated, Tom. You be sure and take care of yourself, because we need you, buddy.
Oh, yeah, no problem. All right, everyone. Thanks for coming, and I'll get this posted as soon as I wake up again. All right. Thanks, Dan.
Okay.
Bye.